Charles was well known in our circle as a wife-obsessed simp. For me, he turned down a powerful arranged marriage and showered me with affection every single day for 3 years. But on the night of his bachelor party, just before our wedding, his longtime crush asked, "If I crash your wedding, will you leave with me?" And he, dead serious, said, "Yes." Holding back tears, I sent a message to my filthy rich best friend. "Can you get me out of here ASAP?" 7 minutes later, she showed up, her tires practically throwing sparks. "I told you, with your looks and personality, you were born to marry into a rich family and enjoy life. My brother is pale and pretty. My dad still got it. Take your pick." Chapter 1. With the wedding date approaching, Charles's childhood buddies threw him a wild bachelor party. Everyone in his circle knew just how obsessed Charles was with me. If I didn't come with him, he'd definitely be home before 10. Didn't matter if anyone else was having fun or not. So this time, they invited me enthusiastically. But the second I walked in, I felt the vibe was off. Everyone greeted me warmly, but they were sneakily exchanging glances with Charles. I didn't get it. Once everyone had taken their seats, a short-haired girl walked in, fashionably late. Sorry. Traffic was a mess. She was tall and slim, her voice crisp and confident. And instantly, Charles froze beside me. It was the first time I'd ever seen someone's heart visibly skip a beat. The girl extended a friendly hand to me and said, "So you're the bride-to-be. Nice to meet you, I'm Camila." As soon as I heard the name, it all clicked. This was the girl Charles had been in love with for 5 whole years. Back then, he wasn't the calm, composed man he is now. He went all out chasing her. He had 1,000 roses laid out downstairs just for her. Set off fireworks along a 100-meter stretch of beach just to impress her. His entire youth had been filled to the brim with her. But 3 years ago, she decisively followed another guy abroad. That was when I met Charles. It was at a party. He walked toward me through hazy lights. I'd only had half a drink, but felt drunk as hell. I rushed to ask my friends about him. They shoved me in his direction, and I was so nervous my tongue tied itself in knots. "I'm Natalie. May I ask, what's your surname?" "Mr. Liu?" Everyone burst out laughing at my silly question. Charles, who had been frowning for months, finally smiled. After we got together, Charles poured all his tenderness into me. He remembered everything I liked, and even more impressively, what I didn't. No matter how late I worked overtime, he always came to pick me up himself. Every holiday, he gave me thoughtfully prepared gifts. He posted about me on his social media, introduced me to all his friends and family. Even his friends started getting jealous. Someone else planted the tree, and now you're enjoying the shade. Natalie, you really showed up at the perfect time. Charles chased the hardest girl ever, leveled up his emotional intelligence, and now you get all the benefits. But I was never bothered by what they said, because everyone told me I was nothing like that girl. Not in looks, not in personality. I wasn't anyone's stand-in, and most importantly, I could feel that Charles loved me. After 3 years of dating, he proposed again, firm and devoted. I thought our love was finally about to bloom and bear fruit. But just then, reality hit me like a slap in the face. Chapter 2. Camila sat down next to me with ease. She pulled out a bottle of perfume from her bag and handed it to me. A wedding gift. "This scent is super classy. I've been using it for 7 or 8 years without switching." She smiled so brightly her eyes nearly disappeared. I had to admit, she was poised, likable, and her personality was genuinely pleasant. Even the wedding gift was addressed to me, not Charles. I accepted it and thanked her. Then she pulled out her phone and added me on WeChat. "If anyone ever gives you a hard time, come rant to me." Sure, Charles and I grew up together, but I'm not taking the in-law side. I've got your back. Everyone around clapped and cheered. "That's our queen. Still so badass." Camila paused, then looked past me to Charles, who was sitting on my other side. "Hey, what's up with you? It's been 3 years, and now you're all quiet." People kept drinking and snacking, pretending to mind their business, but their eyes were locked on the 3 of us. Terrified they'd miss something juicy, Charles's ears visibly turned red. He didn't even dare look at her, just held his glass and tried to joke. It's not that I'm quiet. I just feel kinda distant from you now. Don't know what to say. Camila chuckled. So it's my fault for not keeping in touch these past 3 years? She raised her glass toward him. Let's change that. Let's keep in touch more often. Charles glanced at me and replied, my wife's strict. If you want to contact me, you'll have to go through her first. They clinked glasses. Smiles full of bygone camaraderie. Everything was out in the open. No coded messages, just honesty. But for some reason, sitting between them, I felt suffocated. Maybe it was because, after 3 years with Charles, I knew his body language like the back of my hand. Tonight, he was way too tense. We drank, sang, played drinking games. As the night wore on, everyone was getting tipsy. Charles lost a round to Camila and chose truth in the game. After being polite all evening, Camila suddenly broke character, tilting her head, flushed and playfully assertive. She asked, if I crash your wedding, will you come with me? The crowd, already buzzed, erupted. Oh, finally! You two are done pretending. Right? That's the real energy we came for. Come on, answer. Would you go with her or not? Charles's eyes were tinged red from the alcohol. He looked at her, emotions swirling in his gaze, and said, seriously, I would. The place exploded. Knew it! Wedding crash! Wedding crash! The cheers drew the attention of everyone nearby. I was still sitting between them. My breathing grew shallow, and my hands began to tremble. I didn't know how to face the scene, so I excused myself to the bathroom and fled, holding back tears. I texted my best friend Lillian, can you get me out of here ASAP? She called me immediately. What happened? Are they giving you a hard time? No, just, don't ask right now. Can you come pick me up? I was on the verge of crying. Lillian panicked, her voice suddenly fierce like a warrior protecting her creed. Stay put. I'll be there in 10, no, 7 minutes. It's not that urgent. Drive safe. Don't tell me what to do. Chapter 3. 7 minutes later. Lillian showed up in her Bugatti like a force of nature. The tires looked like they were about to catch fire. As soon as I saw her, my eyes welled up. Lillian grabbed my hand, seething. What the hell did they do to you? Charles, are you blind? She's this upset and you just sit there? Lillian was a rich heiress, fierce and radiating power. The moment she appeared, the whole room fell silent. Then her eyes locked onto Camila, razor sharp. Well, look who we have here. Camila stood up and took my arm with a sweet smile. Just playing a game. Didn't mean to take it too far. I've always been kind of blunt. First time hanging out with someone this delicate. Didn't handle it right. My bad. Lillian yanked me behind her. Who said you could touch her? You're not blunt. You're just playing dumb. By now, Charles had sobered up too. He rubbed his temples and stood. Natalie's tired. I should take her home. Lillian snorted. I'm already here. You think we need you? Go back to playing dead. Everyone stood awkwardly, watching Lillian pack up my things. She mumbled while collecting stuff. I told you, with your looks and heart, you should have married into a real elite family. Instead, you picked some nouveau riche trash heap just to suffer. That kind of crowd, schemes, backstabbing, fake smiles. It's no place for someone as pure as you. Charles's family had a net worth in the high 9 digits. And yet, from Lillian's mouth, 9-digit net worth nouveau riche sounded like the ultimate insult. No one dared say otherwise. Lillian zipped up my bag and grabbed it. She spotted the elegant perfume bottle inside, didn't even ask. Just casually tossed it onto the floor. This outdated crap? She seriously thought this was a decent gift? The bottle clattered and rolled, right to Camila's feet. Her face darkened with embarrassment. Lillian took my hand and led me away. Charles chased after us, grabbing my arm. Natalie, please don't be mad. She caught me off guard with that question. My mind just went blank. I stared into his eyes, deep and full of emotion. And suddenly, I felt completely drained. So you're saying, that was your instinctive reaction? That, deep down, you wanted to be with her? Of course not, Natalie. It was just a game. If I had said no, she would have lost face in front of everyone. And to save her face, You didn't mind grinding my dignity into the dirt? I just gave her a graceful answer. But you, I gave you a marriage. I shook him off, furious yet laughing bitterly. So I'm supposed to feel lucky? Charles, we've been together for 3 years, and I'm only now realizing you're a master of balancing acts. Lillian pulled the car up, honking like crazy. Charles reached for me again. Let me take you home. We can talk this through on the way. Lillian frowned. If you're so free, how about driving your electric Bentley around as an Uber? Maybe that'll wake you up. Charles froze. For the first time, his luxury green-plated Bentley made him feel humiliated. I opened the car door and climbed in. Looking back, I said to him, our wedding is off. We both need time to seriously think things over. Chapter 4. On the way back, I scrolled through my social feed. Camila had posted 2 updates. The first one, she really is nothing like me. But doesn't that just make it even more obvious what you're trying to hide? The second, if these past 3 years were your way of proving I was wrong to give you up, well, you've succeeded. The emotions I had held back all night suddenly burst. I broke down in tears. 3 years of wholehearted devotion, wasted. I thought Charles's tender, meticulous love came from the heart. Turns out, it was just a show, for her. I was nothing more than a pawn in their high-level emotional tug-of-war. Lillian wasn't one for comforting words. She was a straight shooter, always solving problems head-on. Stop crying already. There are tons of men out there. Just switch to another one. My brother's got the pretty boy charm. My dad still got that silver fox vibe. Take your pick. I cried until I was exhausted, then burst out laughing at her joke. Lillian, am I pathetic? Even now, I need you to fight my battles for me. Lillian patted my head. Don't be stupid. Everyone's wired differently. My mom died when I was little, just me. My dad and my brother left. We've all got issues expressing love. I was rebellious as hell growing up, total headache, so chances to be useful? Not many. But you? You were born with a soft heart. Every day with you feels like a warm spring breeze. You're still the gentlest doctor in town when it comes to giving shots. When I was hospitalized, if it weren't for you visiting me every day, talking me down, cheering me up, I never would have made it through. Her words hit home. The shambles of my self-worth slowly started rebuilding. Then Lillian said, honestly though, are you sure you don't want to marry into my family? She'd asked this 100 times before. We met when she was admitted to the hospital. The hospital director had assigned himself as her primary doctor, and I was his assistant. But thanks to my gentle voice and painless needlework, Lillian made the executive decision to have me as her main doctor. And from that moment on, we forged a deep, ride-or-die friendship. At the time, I was already dating Charles. Every day, Lillian would slap her thigh in regret. If only I'd gotten sick a few months earlier. You were still single back then. I could have brought you home to marry into the family. Innocent bystander Cashion, her older brother, who had flown back from abroad just to visit her, turned visibly black in the face every time he heard her say that. Thanks to Lillian's relentless matchmaking, my relationship with Cashion started at rock bottom. Every time we ran into each other, I'd look down awkwardly. He'd look away just as awkwardly. We both pretended not to see the other. Recently, Cashion returned from overseas and joined our hospital. His office? Right next to mine. The arrival of this stoic, hyper-disciplined, devastatingly handsome ice-cold genius instantly turned the whole hospital upside down. Girls found every excuse to stroll past his office. Even the sick leave requests went down. Meanwhile, I had to hold in my pee just to avoid walking the halls too often, risking bumping into him more than necessary. Noticing my silence, Lillian perked up. You're not saying anything. Are you seriously considering it? Have you made up your mind? My brother or my dad? My mouth twitched. If I have to choose between the two, I'd rather go with your dad. Lillian lit up. Yes, I was thinking the same. My dad's older, he'll kick the bucket sooner. You inherit his fortune early, and we can spend our days calling up male models together. My brother's no good, he's too disciplined. Sleeps early, eats clean. His health is too good. I'm afraid you wouldn't survive him. I was speechless. Chapter 5. The next afternoon, Lillian came to the hospital on time to pick me up after work. As we passed by Cashion's office, she grabbed my hand and dragged me in. Bro, are you working overtime today? Cashion looked up from his computer. He stood at 6'3", with sharp brows and a sculpted nose bridge. His eyes were dark, cool, and magnetic. The kind of face that made you want to curse the goddess of creation for being so unfair. Cashion Kim gave me a glance, his expression indifferent. No overtime. As soon as he said that, Dr. Wong, who was sitting across from him, looked up in surprise. Dr. Kim, weren't you? Cashion swept him a glance so sharp it could slice glass. Dr. Wong froze for a moment, then swallowed his words. Lillian pressed on. Then are you going out for dinner? Cashion paused, a bit reserved. Sure. He stood up without hesitation and began tidying up his desk. Lillian lit up. Perfect. Since you're eating out, I'll take Natalie back to our place for dinner. You being home always makes her feel awkward. Cashion froze mid-motion. He slowly looked up at Lillian, with a glare that carried inexplicable murderous energy. Then why don't you just take her out to eat somewhere else? His tone was icy. Our food at home isn't anything special. Their family cook, Aunt Wong, had originally been the gardener, but once she got older and couldn't dig in the dirt anymore, she applied to switch jobs and became the house cook. Her cooking was, well, very healthy. Lillian tiptoed and whispered into his ear. I want to take her home and introduce her to Dad. He. We might be getting a stepmom. Excited? Surprised? Cashion slowly straightened up, then shot Lillian a look like he was staring at a corpse. A few seconds later, he grabbed Lillian by the collar and dragged her toward the CT scan room. Come on, let's go get your brain scanned. Last time you were hospitalized, maybe they accidentally took out part of your brain. Lillian's wailing echoed down the hallway. My brain's fine, bro. Let me lay out the 3 benefits of getting a stepmom. First, once Dad gets remarried, he'll stop nagging us about settling down. Second, I'll have her whisper sweet nothings to Dad at bedtime so he'll hand the company over to me. That way, you can just keep being Dr. Kim. And I get to be the CEO, win-win. Third, she's young, gorgeous, with curves for days, barring any surprises. We'll be holding our new baby brother by next year. Family legacy secured. You don't even have to have kids. You can even get a vasect, OUCH. Why'd you pinch me? That hurts. Chapter 6. As the car pulled out of the hospital, a familiar vehicle zipped by. I turned back to look. Was that Charles? Lillian replied calmly. Nope, you saw wrong. He's probably pouring his heart out to his side piece on some random bed right now. No time to worry about you. I was normally pretty emotionally stable. I'd even planned to break up with dignity. But after hearing that, I suddenly didn't feel like being dignified anymore. I blocked Charles on everything. Out of sight, out of mind. Cashion arrived at the house not long after us. The moment he stepped in, he went straight to his room to change. His face was stone cold the whole time. He only emerged when Aunt Wong brought the food to the table. Lillian gasped when she saw him. What's wrong with you? Who dresses like that at home? Cashion sat upright at the table, perfectly tailored suit, hair slicked immaculately. He looked like a frosty CEO straight out of a drama. Isn't this how I always dress? He asked through gritted teeth. Lillian's mouth twitched several times but said nothing. Just then, Mr. Kim came home. He greeted me warmly and sat down at the table. Cashion glanced at his father's full suit and tie outfit. Not changing? Don't you usually rush to throw on your old man tank top the second you get home? You always say suits are uncomfortable. Mr. Kim looked at me, then at his sharply dressed son, and smiled cheerfully. You guys finally brought a guest over. I had to look respectable. Cashion's mouth twitched just like Lillian's had. Dinner began. Cashion held a half bowl of rice and spoke with haughty precision. Move the pork knuckles and pig feet farther away. Too greasy. Aunt Wong obeyed. Cashion elegantly nibbled on his greens. Mr. Kim looked confused. Don't you usually hate veggies and insist on having meat at every meal? Cashion paused. He looked at his dad, who was calmly slicing a steak with a knife and fork. Don't you usually eat steak with chopsticks? Mr. Kim choked. I quickly jumped in to smooth things over. Honestly, chopsticks are just more convenient. I sometimes eat steak that way too. The tension eased just a little. Then Cashion added, "My dad's favorite is steamed fish head with chopped chilies. He always spits the bones all over the table. You've lost your damn mind today." Mr. Kim snapped, slamming his chopsticks down. "You guys eat. I'm already full," on rage. Lillian kept her head down, silently shoveling rice, too scared to speak, too scared to ask. It was Aunt Wang who broke the awkward silence. "There's a car that's been parked outside for a while. Not sure who it's waiting for. Looks like a BYD?" Cashion stood up instantly. "You guys eat. I'll go take a look." Moments later, we heard his voice from downstairs. "Uncle Zhang, go shoo that green plate car away. Tell him no one here ordered a rideshare, he's at the wrong address. And give him $500 so he can grab a bowl of noodles down the street. Standing around all evening must have sucked." I whispered to Lillian, "Your brother's got issues, but weirdly, he's kind of a nice guy." Lillian didn't say a word. Chapter 7. Afraid Charles might come to the house and harass me. Lillian insisted I stay at her place for a few days. Cashion didn't object. He even offered me his bedroom, saying the sunlight there was better. He moved into the guest room next to his dad's room instead. Lillian clicked her tongue in amazement. "My brother never lets me bring girls home. Doesn't let them touch his stuff either. Sometimes I even wonder if he's got a thing against women. But now, he's being so generous with you. Do you know what that means?" "What does it mean?" I asked. Cashion's footsteps downstairs suddenly slowed. "It means that dog-ass couple hurt you so bad that even my brother, a cold-blooded robot, has developed some sympathy." Lillian fumed. "Stop talking if you can't talk like a normal person," Cashion growled. Then he stomped downstairs loudly, thump, thump, thump. Cashion's room was spotless and had a faint scent of cedarwood. I opened the window for some fresh air. A breeze swept over the bookshelf and sent a stack of papers fluttering down. I bent down to pick them up, one by one. I realized they were medical records I'd written for Lillian 3 years ago. The last sheet was filled out by Cashion himself. His handwriting was clean and sharp. "Natalie, Qingda University-affiliated hospital." There was no extra emotion on the page. And yet, somehow, it felt full of suppressed emotion. It was like I had accidentally uncovered something important. My hands shook as I put the documents back in order and returned them to their place. Then I lay down stiffly on the bed, telling myself not to overthink. Don't overthink, don't overthink. But the room was filled with Cashion's scent, even with my eyes closed. His face kept flashing through my mind like a reel on fast forward. Much to my dismay, I couldn't sleep. Chapter 8. The next morning, we gathered at the breakfast table. I had full-blown panda eyes. So did Cashion. Mr. Kim looked like he had aged 10 years overnight. Lillian was shocked. "What happened to you guys? Didn't sleep at all?" I mumbled, "Maybe. I'm just not used to a new bed." Cashion, same. New bed. Couldn't sleep. Mr. Kim stared weakly at Cashion. "You couldn't sleep, so you had to mess with your old man? I don't know what you were on last night. Every time I got up to pee, you'd pop out of your room and watch me. Scared me half to death." "I didn't get a wink of sleep," Cashion replied righteously. "What kind of normal person gets up to pee 8 times in one night?" Mr. Kim's lips trembled. "I'm old. I've got a tiny bladder." "Fine. I'm not normal. Satisfied?" He slammed down his chopsticks and left the table. Humiliated. That was the second meal he'd stormed away from. No wonder he wasn't gaining any weight. Lillian munched on her soup dumpling. "Let my brother give you a ride to work today. I won't tag along." I quickly waved it off. "No need to trouble Dr. Kim. I'll just grab a cab." Cashion stood up. "It's on the way. I'll drive you for the next few days." He grabbed his phone, and even his ears turned red. "Let's add each other on WeChat." I was thinking about how to politely decline when Lillian butted in. "Wait a minute, you need her WeChat just to split gas money for a ride to work?" Aw, that made sense. I'd totally overthought it. I quickly pulled out my phone and added him on WeChat, then transferred him 600 yuan. "Is that enough?" Cashion said nothing. He just slowly turned his head to glare at Lillian, as if all strength had drained from his body. Chapter 9. On the way to work. Cashion drove, face still blank and icy, to kill the awkward silence. I pulled out my phone and started scrolling through my social feed. One glance, and it felt like the sky collapsed. Turns out, last night, this emotionless Dr. Kim had made a post. Today, we added an extra bowl and pair of chopsticks at home. The photo showed the massive bowl of rice in front of me, and my right hand holding the chopsticks. Even though the app had compressed the image, it was obvious. That bowl of rice was packed tight. I eat a lot. Since it was my first time at someone else's house, I didn't dare ask for seconds, so I pressed the rice down hard to fit more in. At that moment, I wanted to die from secondhand embarrassment. Even worse, the comments section. I could see messages from mutual friends. Camila was practically first. Who is that? Who? Charles probably recognized my bracelet. He commented multiple times, fragmented and furious. She's at your place? Wait, what is this post supposed to mean? Tell her, I'm waiting outside your house to pick her up. You win. Just wait. You'll regret this. I slowly turned to Cashion. Dr. Kim, why would you post something like that? Cashion stayed calm. People always say I'm cold and antisocial. I just wanted to show I'm a warm and welcoming person. I was speechless. Dr. Kim, how do you know Camila and Charles? Camila was a friend of a classmate. 3 years ago, when I went abroad for grad school. She showed up too. Then one day, this guy named Charles added me on WeChat, sent a bunch of weird messages, said I should take care of her. Suddenly, it clicked. People had said Camila chased another guy overseas back then. I stared at him. The guy she chased was you? Cashion turned his head, his gaze serious to the extreme. I have nothing to do with her. We're not even friends. My mind raced, piecing everything together. So, for the past 3 years, you've seen every post Charles made? Yes. I remembered the first time we met, how he stared at me for a long moment, until Lillian screamed like a banshee, snapping him out of it. So, at the hospital, our first meeting, you already recognized me, didn't you? No, that's not the order. Cashion kept his eyes on the road. But every word struck straight to my heart. I met you first, at the hospital. Then I got Charles's friend request. Saw your face again in one of his posts. If I hadn't seen you in that post, I wouldn't have had the patience to read all his nonsense. And I definitely wouldn't have kept him as a contact. My brain felt like it was exploding with facts and emotions, but only one key point stuck. Charles had already been dating me back then, but still couldn't let go of his crush. So much so, he humiliated himself by messaging her crush. My eyes stung. I didn't say anything for a while. Cashion silently handed me a tissue. Don't be sad. There are plenty of men out there. Just pick a new one. I sniffled. Would you mind showing me the messages he sent you? Cashion froze for a few seconds, then answered swiftly. No, I would mind. Fair enough. Just say it's inconvenient if it is, no big deal. Why does he look like someone just yanked down his underwear in public? Chapter 10. For a while after that, I stayed at Lillian's place at night and went to work with Cashion in the morning. There was always so much going on that I barely had time to dwell on the pain of the breakup. Cashion was like a wild man slowly learning to live in civilization. He not only started to care about others but even began learning how to cook. Auntie Wong, the housekeeper, was so unsettled she feared she'd be out of a job soon. Another casualty of this transformation was Dr. Wong, who shared a desk with Cashion. Cashion suddenly lost interest in working overtime. Dr. Wong was left to carry the burden alone, his hairline visibly retreating day by day. Lillian couldn't help but comment. The most emotionally unhinged person in our family is becoming more and more normal lately. But I still felt something was off about him. At night before bed, he'd speak to me with the tone of a doctor checking on a patient. How've you been feeling these past couple days? Sleeping okay? I nodded, getting used to it. The next second, he posted a status update. She's finally gotten used to sleeping in my bed, with a photo of my clothes hanging beside his bed. The comment section must have been pure chaos, because by the time I saw it, it had become a perfectly uniform thread of comment deleted. Comment deleted. I stared in disbelief. Dr. Kim, was that post supposed to show how warm and welcoming you are? Cashion peeled a pomelo for me and replied calmly. No, That post was for flexing our love. The first one hit hardest was Camila. Maybe she didn't sleep at all that night. At the crack of dawn, she was already lurking near Cashion's house, poking her head around to see who the she in his post really was. But she had terrible timing. Lillian, who was famously a night owl, just so happened to get up early that day. Their eyes met. Lillian's grin twisted like a villain in a soap opera. Heaven has a path you refuse to walk. Hell has no door. And yet here you are, breaking in. She'd been itching to throw hands for a while now. Civilized society was the only thing holding her back. Rolling up her sleeves slowly, she took a deep breath and shouted, "Thief! Thief!" Then she pounced. Bam! Smack! Wham! She let loose. Auntie Wong, awakened by the shouting, stumbled out with sleepy eyes and a broom in hand. She joined the beatdown without missing a beat. As Camila screamed louder and louder, Auntie Wong finally regained a bit of rationality. "Are we hitting too hard?" Lillian snapped. "If you don't hit where it hurts, how will a thief remember the pain? Also, Auntie Wong, your cooking's SOSO, and your punches are weak too?" Hearing that, Auntie Wong was suddenly reminded of her looming unemployment. Determined to prove she was absolutely essential, she rolled up her sleeves again and went in with full force. By the time the security guards arrived, it took everything they had to peel Auntie Wong off. Camila was bruised and swollen, her face looking like a cartoon pig, sobbing until she was almost out of breath. Chapter 11. When I got to work, I happened to be the one treating Camila's external injuries. She had just calmed down, but then she saw the bracelet on my wrist, the same one Cashion had posted in that photo. Her emotions exploded again. "So it's you. It was you all along. You got close to him just to get back at me, didn't you?" I pressed her shoulder. "Stop moving. These machines are expensive, and you can't afford to break one accidentally." I pressed down on one of her injuries. She cried out like someone dying, but once the pain passed, she finally quieted down. Then, her cunning side returned. Sensing I was a soft target, she sneered coldly. "That night, when Charles gave his answer, I bet you were devastated. Face it, we're not the same. I'm the one he chased for 5 years but couldn't have. You're the one who threw herself at him. There's a world of difference between us and his heart. The feelings from youth are always the most unforgettable. Even if you two get married, I'll still be lodged in his heart forever." She knew exactly how to stab someone with her words, slow and deep. But I didn't react. I just calmly continued her checkup. Seeing that didn't get to me, she leaned in, lowering her voice to twist the knife further. "You know what? After you left that night, he took me home. He even stayed the night, while you were tossing and turning alone. He was sleeping soundly next to me. That's the man you've loved for 3 years. If anything, you should be thanking me. I helped you see him for what he really is." I furrowed my brows, face serious. Camila smirked triumphantly. "What's wrong? You looked so composed a second ago. Can't fake it anymore?" I shook my head slowly. After a pause, I handed her a report. "Your ultrasound shows a mass on your right breast. We can't rule out the possibility of breast cancer. You should schedule a biopsy to be sure." Her smile vanished. You're trying to scare me, aren't you?" "I'm really not that bored." I stood up, cleaned the equipment, sanitized, tossed the trash. My expression didn't change at all. Even remembered to hand her the fruit basket on the table. "This was sent by the person who accidentally injured you. Don't forget to take it. And by the way, even though she hurt you, maybe you should be thanking her too. She helped you discover this issue early, didn't she?" Camila's hands loosened in a daze. The basket fell. Fruits rolled across the floor. Chapter 12. The day Charles came to the hospital looking for me, it was a rare, cloudless afternoon. During the lunch break, for once, everything was peaceful. Cashion saw that I was alone and claimed he was feeling tightness in his chest and short of breath, begging me to run a checkup. Without waiting for my response, he shut the door, took off his white coat, and lay down on the exam bed. One by one, he unbuttoned his shirt. He usually looked lean in his clothes, but now, with his shirt open, I realized just how solid and sculpted his chest actually was. When I didn't move, He urged me. What's wrong? Dr. Natalie? Let's begin. I replied sincerely. It's just a chest exam. There's really no need to unbutton all the way to your abdomen. Cashion let out an "oh" and slowly buttoned the lower ones back up, hiding his well-defined 8-pack. I disinfected the equipment and applied the gel. The moment I touched his chest muscles, his body flinched ever so slightly. His breathing grew uneven. Dr. Kim, relax. No need to be nervous. I smiled. Holding the probe, I began slowly gliding it across his chest. It was unusually quiet all around. Cashion's lashes trembled slightly, and his face started to flush. TCH. He's such a tease. And so bad at it. Just then, Dr. Wong burst into the room. Is Dr. Natalie here? And saw, in one glance, his famously aloof, academically brilliant colleague sprawled shirtless on the exam bed next to me. Dr. Wong closed his eyes in agony. Cashion sat up and calmly did up his buttons. That cold, detached look was instantly back on his face. I tried my best not to laugh. Did you need something, Dr. Wong? With his eyes still closed, Dr. Wong said. There's a green-plated Bentley parked downstairs, full of flowers. Looks like it's for you, Dr. Natalie. I blinked, opening the window. I saw him, Charles. Lately, he had been running around like a desperate man trying to find me. He even registered as a patient to get into my clinic. After hearing his tearful confession, I calmly suggested he visit the psych department next door. Clearly, he wasn't giving up. Now, he stood downstairs, surrounded by a sea of blooming flowers. When he saw me through the window, he began to pour his heart out. I was drunk that night. When I came to, the damage was done, and I've regretted it every second since. After calming down, I realized it was just years of unfulfilled obsession. But once I got what I thought I wanted, I realized the person I truly love has always been you, Natalie. Can you forgive me? Will you let me chase you again, just like before? He looked up at me with desperate longing. I used to imagine how Charles looked back then, that sunny boy who filled the street with flowers to pursue Camila. He must have been blushing, excited, eyes full of innocent joy. Not like this, miserable and torn apart. But people can't have it both ways. I turned to Dr. Wong. He's not here for me. That's clearly a public disturbance. Better call security before he pulls out a banner and ends up all over social media. Our city was currently competing for model civilized city status. Dr. Wong panicked, bolted out, and ran to get security. Charles hadn't even fully unfurled his confession banner before a team of security guards pinned it to the ground with steel forks. He craned his neck desperately, trying to catch another glimpse of me, but instead, he saw Cashion standing beside me. His eyes turned red with rage. You bastard! You were just lying in wait all this time, weren't you? Cashion, if you're a real man, come down here and face me. Screaming and crying, he looked more like a protester causing a scene. Dr. Wong hissed. Shut him up before he makes a scene. Moments later, Charles's mouth was sealed shut with medical tape, and he was escorted to hospital security. I let out a breath and closed the window. When I turned around, I saw Cashion had unbuttoned his shirt again. He sat there, looking all bashful and unsatisfied. We didn't even finish earlier. He took my hand and placed it against his chest. Dr. Natalie, can you check again, to see if my heart's still racing? Extra. Chat log, Cashion x Charles. September 23, 2021. You've added each other as friends. Cashion. Charles. Sorry to bother you. I'm Charles, a good friend of Camila's. Just wondering, since she went to Germany, is she doing okay? Cashion. Camila? Who's that? Charles. The girl who chased you all the way to Germany? Cashion. Too many. Can't tell which one you mean. If you've got nothing serious to say, I'm deleting this chat. Bye. Charles. Cashion. Wait a second. Your profile picture, what's that? Charles. Oh, that's me and my girlfriend. 20 minutes later. Time Cashion clearly spent stalking Charles's feed in detail. Cashion, you've got a girlfriend, and you're still worried about another girl's well-being? Charles. It's not that kind of worry. It's just, today's my birthday. And my girlfriend went all out to surprise me. Best birthday I've ever had. I felt so happy. I suddenly remembered the mess I was back when I was chasing Camila. Emotionally manipulated. Completely lost. It wasn't even a life worth living. Cashion. So what? You came here to flex on us lonely folks? Charles. Haha. Nah. Just got a little emotional after a few drinks. I used to resent her. Even hated her. Now I've let it go. I hope she gets what she wants and lives well. Turns out, when you're surrounded by love, it's easier to be kind to the world. Cashion. Sends. Emoji. Charles. Anyway. Feels good to get it off my chest. Let's unfriend. Bro. Thanks for listening. Cashion. Wait. Now I'm uncomfortable. Charles. What? Cashion. I'm saying, your vibe is off. The fact that you're still worried about her means you haven't moved on. Charles. No way. I really think I have. Cashion. Nah, you haven't. Charles. Cashion. Trust me, you're too close to see it. But I've got outsider clarity. Deep down, the person you love most is still Camila. Hey, which Camila were we talking about again? Charles. Sends photo. This one. Cashion. Wow, she really is stunning. A girl that beautiful, are you really okay with letting her go just like that? Charles. If she's that great, why didn't you say yes after she chased you for so long? Cashion. Me? Well, physically, I'm not in great shape. You know what I mean. Didn't want to ruin her chances at happiness. That's why I never said yes to anyone. Charles. Damn, that's rough. Cashion. Exactly. Which is why I hope someone healthy like you can bravely pursue his happiness. You and Camila ending up together. That's my greatest wish now. Everyone in our circle knew. Charles spoiled me to the heavens. Cashion. No. You're just temporarily blinded by the comfort you're in right now. Also, your girlfriend? Honestly, kind of average. Any sane person would know who to choose. Charles. You're calling her average? The first time we met, she approached me. My heartbeat literally came back to life. Man. Cashion. See? She approached you. Isn't that a bit different from Camila, the girl you chased after? Doesn't that say something about the difference in how much they mean to you? By the way, what exactly made her approach you? Charles. I have no idea. At the time, I was a mess, didn't even smile at anyone. But apparently, my coldness was exactly what won her over. Cashion. So you were emotionally distant and cold to everyone. Got it. Charles. No. Wait, after talking to you, my brain's all messed up now. Cashion. That's good. Being confused means you've got something unresolved inside. Come on, man, don't give up on Camila so easily. Stay true to your heart. Charles. Huh? Cashion. Don't forget, you two getting back together is the greatest wish of someone like me. Who wishes he could but physically just can't? Charles. All right then.